All right, good morning, TFO friends and family. I'm Dr. Neal Postma. I am the orchestra manager with TFO, and for this musician feature, I will be interviewing our executive artistic director, Dr. Larkin Sanders. Good
Hello.
morning, Larkin.
Hi.
How's everything going with you?
Oh, things are going well. It's a beautiful day in Kansas City. The magnolia tree is blooming, the pollen is looming, all the good things like that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you ready to just jump in here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first question on the docket, and I think we should all know the answer to this, but how long have you been playing in TFO? I think you've been there since the start.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Neil. That's a good trivia question though. Like how long has Larkin been playing in TFO? All 10 years of TFO. But I've been giving recitals in Branson since the early 2000s, I think. And in high school, I had a few Branson show jobs. So I've been a Branson entertainer for a long time. I don't even know how long ago that was.
And you're from Branson. Well, kind of from Branson.
Yes, I identify Branson as my hometown for sure. My brother and I were both born in New York when my parents lived there, like pursuing my dad's career and stuff, and then we moved to Branson when I was like 5. So I have a very like Midwestern accent. All my friends are from the area. I'm very Bransonian.
So tied to the community, which is so important for our organization.
Yeah, I think so.
So, what is your favorite thing about TFO?
Oh my gosh. My favorite thing about TFO is all the people. Another vote for all the people involved. I'll never forget like the first year of TFO when everyone showed up to the welcome picnic. I felt like I don't know SpongeBob SquarePants or something like lying in bed. Like everyone came, everyone showed up. I was so excited about how how quickly it took off in the first year. But yeah, I love seeing everyone coming back to TFO every year and knowing that there are members of TFO from so many different aspects of my life. From my time at the University of Kansas as an undergraduate student, Michigan State as a master's student, Florida State as a doctoral student. And then there's like a whole group of people that I met through TFO because they discovered it and it was something that they wanted to try out. And some of them are even 12-year members that like I met because of the first season of TFO. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. One point you made is that you're just amazed in the first time that everyone shows up. Like
Yeah,
when you start a new event like this, it's so scary, and you like, and the scary part is, will people be there?
right.
We experienced that together with the American Single Read Summit,
Yeah.
and it's like, and it goes to show just how great our music community is. That yeah, they said they're going to be there, and then they show up.
And they show up. They do the thing they said they were going to do, which is like a personality characteristic that I value above all is reliability. Uh,
100%.
yeah, and so the people of TFO are like wonderful, reliable humans, which makes them all my favorite.
When they check the spreadsheet.
When they check the spreadsheet, now everyone has seen
Okay, we're going to calm down and we're going to move on.
this hot and button spreadsheet topic. We gotta step back.
For those of you that don't play in the orchestra, the spreadsheet is the omnipotent, perfect information source for all members of the orchestra.
hmm And sometimes
And
I won't check it.
95% of the questions that we receive, go check the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
It's in there.
it's true.
It's been a source of many memes for us in our Facebook groups as well.
Yes. Many memes.
All right. So, where are you living and working for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I live and work in Kansas City. So we live just barely on the Missouri side of Kansas City. We live a block east of State Line Road. And I have a gazillion jobs in the area, like so many other freelance musicians. So right now we're in my shop, the Clever Clarinetist. So I'm a clarinet player, obviously, and I like to wheel and deal fine clarinet goods and clarinets themselves. And through the shop, I also teach private lessons. I am an assistant band director in Liberty. So I'm basically a glorified woodwind technician. I go up and work with their woodwind students to tutor them on their band music and also to help them with any upcoming solo and ensemble or all district, all state band auditions. And then I have a part time job teaching applied clarinet for Washburn University, which is in Topeka. It's a mid sized liberal arts school. And I teach a handful of music majors whose primary instrument is clarinet, and I play in the faculty woodwind quintet there. And I have a handful of chamber ensembles that I play with here in Kansas City because that's my main music making thing. Ironically, I started an orchestra festival and I am not a big fan of playing in orchestra. I really only like playing in TFO. Otherwise, I pretty much avoid orchestras like the plague, and then just play small ensemble music instead. Um, and we're getting ready to start porch music concerts here soon. As soon as the weather can stay consistently above 60 degrees, we'll be out on the porch playing Beethoven and stuff.
So you mentioned how much you love chamber music, even over orchestral music, and I'm the same way. I'll take a chamber group over a large ensemble any day. But what is it about that playing in a chamber group that you enjoy so much?
No, that's a great question. Um, Probably the people. Again, it's like the people is my answer to everything. The the chamber ensembles I play in, it's nice because I can handpick the people I'm playing with. I'm not like forced to play with people I don't like or don't jive with. Um, so like in porch music, I there are 7 or 8 of us, and I love 100% of them. Like I look forward to playing in that group. And as a clarinet player, I get to hold like a little bit of a leadership role in smaller chamber music groups. And in the orchestra, the clarinet is like one of the farthest instruments from a leadership role in general. Like we literally sit in the back row.
You
And
know who's behind you in leadership positions in the orchestra, right? Saxophonist.
of course, yeah, because they're under the jurisdiction of clarinets. Sorry.
Correct.
And then we're under the jurisdiction of flute and oboe, who are under, it's just like there are like 5 people between clarinet and the conductor already. So there, ew, I, I really thrive when I get a leadership role and when I get to take some kind of charge. And so it's not something I can really achieve in orchestra, but it's something I can do in chamber music. So yeah, the people and being able to boss them around.
The truth comes out. There it is. All right. So, what happened to you, your work, and your momentum when things started shutting down due to COVID-19 last year?
Oh my god, it it was like I slammed on the metaphorical brakes and was thrown out of the windshield. It was,
And skidded along the road.
yeah, that's how it felt. Because my income was cut in half at least, if not more, because I was doing a lot of professional playing. I had a lot of gigs lined up. I think at that moment, like March 13th or whatever, I had a clarinet day or some kind of like special trade show event for the next like 4 weekends, and they were just gone all of a sudden. And trade shows are where, excuse me, as a like clarinet salesman and a shop owner, like that's where I get to do the bulk of my networking and make a lot of contacts for upcoming sales. So I didn't end up selling like a clarinet for like 6 months. And that was really tough. And so I used to work as a clinician for D'Addario, and that work was also gone. And then I also didn't get to see my students. Fortunately, everyone converted to online lessons, so I didn't lose any students. But I think it was just so draining to know that there were no opportunities on the horizon. I love seeking opportunities. That's something that is really valuable like for my leadership skill set is that I'm good at finding and seeking opportunities, but there was nothing. Like I couldn't even prepare for anything. I just had to like sit and wait. And I hate sitting and waiting. It's the worst. So it was really rough. And in Missouri, the like unemployment benefits were so hard to acquire. I remember actually calling someone and talking to him on the phone about like my loss of D'Addario work specifically, because that was like, I don't know, 10 grand gone
Mhm.
for the year. And I was like, I think there's a problem with your application because I couldn't include any freelance work in it. All I could talk about was my like salary income. They're like, oh yeah, we don't consider freelance work to be real income. So we're gonna, we just have to base this off of like what you got on your salaries then versus now, which was the same, you know. So in the eyes of the state of Missouri, I wasn't unemployed.
It just goes to show that the people making the rules don't know how the current American economy works for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was great. Fortunately, things are getting better. I learned a lot about digital presence and the value of being online and how to, I don't know, not only to promote myself and my work online, but how to engage people online as well. So there's a valuable set of skill sets that came out of the last year in the pandemic, and things are on the up and up for sure.
It's been interesting, talking with other people and how they've dealt with it, musicians and artists. And I think the hardest thing for me was just falling into a creative slump because, creatively, I like to collaborate. That's where it's not necessarily where ideas come from, but where the energy draws from. Did you find the same thing, that creatively you just weren't weren't coming up with the ideas that you normally would?
Yeah, yeah, it was like a creative dry spell for
Yeah.
sure. There was nothing to look forward to, nothing to seek out. Um, yeah, everything that we planned on was just poof, gone.
Yep. 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 100% there. On a lighter note, how has your life been affected by the civil unrest that we have been experiencing in this country over the past year?
A lighter note.
And then we'll fix Social Security afterwards.
Oh my god. Man, so here in Kansas City, we were like right down the street from all the protesting that was happening, but we didn't engage with any of it. And I think you said this last week in your interview that it's largely because we felt like we didn't want to potentially. I felt like I didn't want to spread things to students that I was still seeing in person and porch music people and stuff like that. Um, so I'm just trying to stay informed and to learn and to acknowledge that as a white lady I'll never understand what it means to be a black person. Like that's simply enough that like I'll never get it. So I feel like what I can do is be an advocate and try to learn and lift the voices of marginalized people. So I took on one creative project that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, for better or worse, and that was I started to dive into the music of Florence Price and oh my god, we're playing some of his music this summer. What's wrong with me? Joseph
Oh, good
Bologna
one.
de Chevalier de Saint George. I started learning a lot about their music and making it playable because I looked at uh, Bologna's music on like IMSLP, which is our international music database for those who are not musicians. It's like a Wikipedia for sheet music. And his
All legal, of course. This is all public domain
Yes,
music.
it's all in the public domain. This guy lived at the same time as Mozart did, so he's very very dead. And his music is basically illegible. It's so in the classical style, like accidentals aren't always there, and all that stuff that we take for granted as modern performers and what we expect from sheet music is just not there. So it's been an interesting challenge. I took all of his violin sonatas or sonatas for two violins and transcribed them into Sibelius, so I can engrave them for whatever instrument combination is out there. And I wanted to do that just to give a musician of color a little bit of exposure and legally, right? Um,
Mhm.
and same with Florence Price, who is like the first Black woman to have a piece premiered by an American orchestra. And that was in the 20th century. It wasn't that long ago, which is kind of a strange thing to think about. But the more I learn about their music, the more I realize that it should be held in just as high of esteem as any of our other major players that we play all the time. And I hope we can kind of lift our voices a little bit at TFO this summer as we play Joseph Bologna de Saint Chevalier de Saint George. He got such a long name. His second symphony we're playing this summer at TFO, so I'm super excited. And someone else who's also very important, Montgomery, Jesse Montgomery. So stay tuned for a TFO that's trying to be more diverse, inclusive, and uplifting as always.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you have a doctorate, I have a doctorate, and we went through the academic cycle, and these are composers that made major contributions, and they're not in the Grout or the
Yeah.
Burkholder, which are our standard music history textbooks. Their excerpts are not in the standard music theory books. That's very yeah, academia has a lot of biases in it. Even liberal academia is riddled with problems like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I'm not denying that Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart were masters because they absolutely were. It's just that there were other
Yes,
masters.
100%. And yeah, a lot of people have not been given their due credit
Yes,
for time.
exactly. So um, I'll continue my best to do my best to lift up and promote the stuff as best as I can.
Kind of along those lines, how do you think music and the arts are going to impact the healing process? I mean, not just from the civil unrest, but COVID and all the difficulties people are feeling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I think that music and the arts have this otherworldly capability of bringing people together in spite of their differences. So even we can be like as divided as anything. We can be like the most divided country in the world, and we can still come together over a great musical performance, right? Um, or over a great piece of art. And music and the arts also have this otherworldly ability to transcend language. And so we might speak different languages and be, divided yet again by a language barrier, but we can get the point across with music and the arts. So I think they're going to be integral in the healing process due to their abilities to communicate better than words and to bring people together in a time where they may feel um, so incredibly divided.
100%. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So this next question, I'm actually going to rephrase it. Larkin provided some questions that we've been going through on with all our musicians, and the question is, do you miss performing and teaching in person? We're scratching that, and I'm going to ask, how much do you miss teaching and performing in person?
I miss it so much. And that's a great idea, Neal. Oh my God. I mean, the, anyone who's a professional musician feels like, I think regardless of what kind of, if you're religious or if you believe in a higher being or something that gels the universes together, you feel like you were created to make music or to make something. And I definitely feel that way. And I feel like my purpose has largely been like eradicated in the last year. And I know a lot of other musicians feel that way too. And it So how much do I miss it? I can't even like quantify it.
Yeah, it's our lives. It's like if you just carved out what makes us us,
Hmm.
and took it away.
Yeah, 2020 took it away. COVID and everything. It was terrible.
But we're coming back.
We're coming back.
We're coming back. Bit by bit, we're gonna come back.
I can't wait. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm vaccinated. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Which leads us to our last questions. What would it mean to you to perform in person with TFO this summer?
Oh my god, everything. It would mean everything. Not just to play with everyone and to make music, but to see them all and to see this like creation come out of hibernation a little bit and to kind of feel our purpose again being fulfilled. To make music with each other and make music for our community that we love so much, and that so many musicians that even though they travel from all over the country and sometimes all over the world, like Steve Branson is a second home. So we're coming home for the first time in 2 years this summer, and that is just like it's thrilling beyond measure.
It's all about the chunch, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's why you started this, to share that with the rest of us.
That's right. If you're not a musician and you're listening to this, we have a tradition of doing like a post TFO lunch at Hong Kong buffet. So it is a combination of Chinese and lunch. Chinese lunch, chunch.
It's usually the last event everyone's at before they part ways at the end of the festival.
True. It's a very bizarrely tear-filled Chinese buffet.
Yes. Yes. I think the staff is often confused why all of a sudden 30 people roll in and are all, yeah, just so sad to be eating their Chinese food.
True. We can't wait to invade Hong Kong buffet again.
We're coming back.
We're coming for ya.
All right. Well, thank you, Larkin, for your time today and for all you do for the festival. And I will be seeing you in like what, 2.5 months now.
So soon. Yay. Thank you, Neil.
All right. We'll see you soon.